everyone and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be trying out the Jeffree Star Bloodlust eyeshadow palette for the first time. I'm going to swatch all of the shades, do a little look with some of the shades, and then just give my kind of final thoughts and feelings about the palette. So I was actually sent this palette from one of my lovely friends. First of all, this palette is just absolutely stunning, isn't it? This like crushed velvet packaging. It's also really weighty, and of course you can't ignore the giant uni carton that it comes in with all this really gorgeous embossed writing, all the gold and everything. It's just very opulent, very, I guess, Jeffree Star. So if you've never seen the Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette, then there are all of the gorgeous shades in there. So not just purples and pinks, we've got a nice like teal here, some more kind of darker shades, that really gorgeous looking red over there. So I'm going to go ahead and get those swatched now. Okay, wow, there is the first 6 shades swatched in this palette. So a nice mixture there of pinks and purples, mattes and shimmers, but starting just at the top here, that is shade Your Majesty, and that's just kind of like an ivory kind of creamy kind of matte shade. Following on from that is Take the Crown, which is a really lovely lavender metallic shade. It's absolutely gorgeous. Underneath that is this kind of more lilac-y matte shade, that is shade Deviant. Following on from that is like a baby pink metallic shimmer with kind of like a gold flip in it, that is shade Beauty Sleep. Following on from underneath that is kind of like quite a soft pink metallic shade, that is shade Wet Jewel. And underneath that is this more dusty pink matte shade, and that is shade Royal Pain. So off to a really great start with those shades. They're all absolutely stunning. And there are the next 6 shades swatched. So very different this time. Some really interesting and beautiful shades again. Starting at the top here is this very deep purple matte shade. That is shade Dungeon. It's kind of like a grey purple. Following on from that is this really lovely, almost more blue grey toned purple shade. So that's another matte shade. That is shade Scandal Water. Underneath that is this gold shade here, which is probably one of the like softest shades I've ever swatched. It literally swatched like butter. It's gorgeous. That is shade Sworn Enemy. Underneath that is this really gorgeous, again, pink metallic, which also swatched really beautifully. Very soft, very buttery, very pigmented. That is shade Pink Magic. Underneath that is that really gorgeous red metallic. That is shade Bleeding Heart. And then there is this matte black shade with like a pink sparkle in it. It's really stunning. That is shade Executioner. So 6 more really gorgeous shades, and I'll go ahead and get the final 6 swatched. And they're the final 6 shades swatched. So back to some more pinky purple shades in this selection here, but starting at the top is this really lovely pink matte shade, which is shade High King. Underneath that is like a pastel purple matte shade, which is shade Vivid Mood. Then there's this like kind of beigey camel matte shade, which is shade Monarchy. Then there's this really deep like grape purple matte shade, that is shade Blood Queen. Then there's this absolutely gorgeous pigmented teal matte shade, which is shade Vile Serpent. And just finishing off with one last shimmer, this pinky shimmer here, that is shade Betrayal. So I think you'll agree, 18 really quite different and beautiful shades in the Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette. So I'm now going to go ahead and create a really fun look with some of these shades, so stick around. So first things first, as always, I'm going to get a nice eye base laid down. I'm using my Beauty Bay eye base, and this is base 2. So first things first, I'm going to dive in with shade Deviant, which is a really lovely kind of like a pastel lavender shade. I thought that would make a really good kind of starting point for a look. Don't want to start off too dark first of all. So as expected, it's just loading up onto my brush really beautifully, and of course, as to be expected, it's a very pigmented shade. I always like to swatch them first before I try out a palette and like a look for the first time, because you know what it's like, sometimes a shade in the palette can just look completely different on the skin, and yeah, I've never tried this palette before. This is literally the first time even swatching them or applying any of the shades, so I'm very, very excited to see how it goes. Really liking this shade here. It does remind me a little bit actually of, I think it's Gumdrop in the Jawbreaker palette. Maybe not quite as bold as that shade, but that's definitely what I'm kind of thinking when I'm applying this shade. So I'm going to get this actually all over my eyelid. I think it's just a real nice base, nice starting point for the look. So I think that's looking really cute so far. The shade is really, really lovely, and this is really easy to apply. It's very pigmented but also quite subtle at the same time, which I really like. But the next shade I'm going to be going in with is shade Vivid Mood, which I think is like a slightly darker purple kind of pastel shade. I thought I'd keep it quite soft to start off with because I think I'm going to do a cut crease because I've got so many really gorgeous shimmers to pick from. I think to be honest it's going to be hard to pick just one, but okay, this is actually much more purple on the brush, so I'm going to pop that kind of into my brow bone and towards the outer part of my eye. That is also applying really, really beautifully. It's another really, really pretty shade. Like I say, if you've ever tried Jeffree Star anything, you'll know that the quality is absolutely there. The shades are always so pigmented. Hopefully just give a little bit of depth to the look by just placing this into the brow bone. I think it's going pretty well. I really, really love those two shades together. I definitely think it's starting to elevate the look. What I wanted to do though with this palette is to do a look that was still really wearable but still kind of like bright and vibrant but also wearable. I'm all about wearable looks on this channel because I know it can be a bit daunting sometimes, especially with a palette that has got quite a lot of bright and different shades in, and you don't want to end up kind of just throwing them all together and I don't know, not feeling confident going out and about. So yeah, so far so good. Very happy with those two shades. So my next step is to go ahead and do a cut crease. So I've got my Beauty Bay eye base again, but this time I've got base 1, which is the white eye base. I always find that it just is a lot better for a cut crease, probably because it's white and it makes everything look more vibrant. I've just got this really, really flat brush to do the cut crease with. This bit is always fiddly, so if you were thinking about recreating this look but didn't fancy doing this, then of course you wouldn't have to. You could just pop a shimmer straight down, or I don't know, you could give it a go if you fancied. Well, that is one done. I'm going to do each eye one at a time just so the eye base doesn't have a chance to get too dry before I can apply my shimmer. So I was kind of torn between two shades for this, and I was torn between that gold Sworn Enemy and this pink here, Pink Magic, but I really think I'm going to go with Pink Magic. Now I've got these two other purpley shades down. I think I want the pink to complement it rather than the gold to contrast with it, but I still think the gold would look excellent, and I think next time I probably would go for that shade. So I'm just taking a different flat brush to get that applied. Okay, it's going onto the brush really gorgeously. Sometimes, you know what it's like, it will swatch nice with your finger, but when you actually put it on the brush it just disappears. Oh wow, that is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. I'm so glad I went with this pink because that is absolutely beautiful. To be fair, for a metallic, this is faring really, really well with the brush. And if by magic, there is both eyes done. I am so impressed with that shimmer. That Pink Magic shade is just absolutely stunning. It's a dream to apply, and I end up just using the brush, and then I didn't even bother to go in with my finger because it's just so pigmented and just gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and get the under eye done now. I'm going to start off in the outer corner, and I'm first of all going to be going back in with shade Vivid Mood, and then for the kind of inner part of my under eye I'm going to be bringing in shade Deviant again. So this is Vivid Mood, And I thought if I kept this just on the outer part, it will make the outer part of the look just a little bit darker than the inner part, which is kind of what I was going for when I was thinking about this in my head. And then this is Deviant, just use the same brush because I'm gonna blend it all anyway. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to say actually, the shades did blend really well when I used those two matte shades to start off with. So there is the actual eyeshadow part of the look done. I'm obviously going to finish off all of this with some eyeliner, some mascara and some lipstick. So eyeliner wise, just going for a black pencil in my waterline. This is like my all-time favourite one from Primark. Mascara wise, going with the Colourpop Act Natural Mascara in shade black. And then lastly for the lips, I have quite a lot of Jeffree Star lip products. I was going to go with a purple lipstick, but now I've got the actual eyeshadow down. I think a purple lipstick with the purple top and obviously the purple eyeshadow is going to be a bit much. So I'm actually going to be using a gloss instead. So I'm using a Jeffree Star the gloss. This one here is in the shade Mouthful and was also very kindly sent in the same parcel as Bloodlust from my lovely friend Dwayne. So this has got quite a nice, you probably can't really see from the actual applicator, but it's got a really lovely like purpley pinky shimmer in it, and I think it will complement the eye look really, really nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of that applied and then I'll show you the final look. Well, there is the final look all completed and I absolutely love it. I think the look is still really, really wearable, although it's definitely got a really gorgeous pop of colour. I think the gloss as well just really complements it as well, and I think the purple lip would have been a bit too much and would have taken kind of an everyday wearable look to something that wasn't everyday and wearable. So I'll give you a close-up of the eyeshadow so you can see that in more detail. But yeah, let me know what you think of the look and whether you would have done anything different. I'd love to know. So by now you'd have seen swatches of all of the shades and also me testing it out for the first time and kind of giving my first impressions as I'm going along. So just time for a quick chat about the palette itself. I know I mentioned before about the uni carton and how gorgeous that is, and of course how gorgeous the packaging of the actual palette is. It's got this clasp here that I didn't mention, and also this is like a metal crown as well. So the attention to detail is definitely there with this palette. I also love the shape of it. It's very different to any of his other palettes. So it's also got a nice big mirror in it, and you would have seen already all 18 shades. So a really gorgeous mix of purples, mattes, shimmers, and a few other kind of curved ball shades in there, which actually all really, really work with the rest of the palette. I was really, really surprised. So my first impressions looking at the palette, of course, is that it's absolutely stunning. It's just amazing, and I think aesthetically it's probably my favourite Jeffree Star palette that he's ever done. In terms of the actual shades, I've used a lot of his makeup. I really, really love Jeffree Star products. I really love Jeffree Star eyeshadow palettes, so the shades themselves did not let me down. Those mattes were pigmented, they weren't chalky, they were very easy to blend, very easy to apply. You would have seen from the swatches that all of those metallics were absolutely gorgeous, and it was so easy to apply with a brush, which was quite surprising because sometimes with a shimmer you really just need to apply it with your finger, and yeah, you don't really get the desired payoff using a brush, but this one was absolutely outstanding. So my first impressions of this palette are amazing. I would definitely rate it 10 out of 10. And I really, really can't wait to get stuck in and create some more looks with the rest of the shades. So definitely let me know if you have this palette and what you think of it, and what your favourite shades are that you've seen from the swatches, or if you don't have this palette, maybe what your favourite Jeffree Star palette is. I'd love to know. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give the video a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you again in my next video.